On today's World Insight, as the 19th Asian Games heat up, host city Hangzhou and sports organizers are busy making sure everything goes smoothly. An organizer, likely one of the busiest of them all, is Juan Antonio Samaranch, the Vice President of the International Olympic Committee. In a one-on-one and on-the-move chat with him, he talks about why China's youth are a sports priority and how sports can make a difference in a troubled world. And China has actively hosted big sports events since the 90s, how hosting these games paid off, in the words of an old sports hand at the Olympic Council of Asia.
Hello and welcome to World Insight, to the 19th Asian Games. I'm Tian Wei, reporting from Hangzhou. The Games begin on Saturday with a 2-hour opening ceremony. It shows great enthusiasm for sports and the diversity of Asia. Rapid technology advances in the region also adds great flavor to the ceremony. Up for grabs are 481 gold medals across 15 days. A glimpse into the main media center of the Games, one could tell this could be the one for the books. Present in Hangzhou are biggest names in sports from Asia and beyond. One of them is Juan Antonio Samaranch Jr., the International Olympic Committee Vice President. His itinerary is absolutely packed this time, just like any other time when he traveled to China. Coming from a family with a rich Olympic legacy, Juan Antonio Samaranch, now Vice President of the International Olympic Committee, understands all too well what it takes to organize a mega sports event, such as the 19th Asian Games. And its success does not just rest on its medal tally, but even more importantly, its legacy. How well do the Games impart the spirit of sportsmanship? How well could they bring more sports stakeholders together in the long term? That task is well reflected in his itinerary during his trip this time to Hangzhou. The morning after the 19th Asian Games opening ceremony, Samaranch already arrived in Ningbo, a few hundred kilometers from Hangzhou, to meet with his local counterparts to nurture sports beloved among the youth. Ningbo locals are the true sports lovers. It's even the hometown of some of China's biggest names in sports. Among them is Wang Shun, the last torchbearer of the 19th Asian Games, who literally lit the tower flames. The meeting with the Ningbo mayor was quite engaging. Both sides strongly support sports for the youth. The local was also eager to work with the Samarach Sports Development Foundation to give his hometown sports a leg up. I can see that you're a straightforward person. I earlier was there watching your interaction with the mayor of the city, and then your interaction with the locals. Straightforward, direct to the point.
Well, I mean, you have to, I try to respect protocol. I try to be respectful with everybody that I encounter. But yes, you have to go straight to the point. I mean, life is so fast today. This is not the 19th century, not even the 20th. And time is precious, and with respect and with common sense, I rather go to the point.
Yeah. This is all based on decades of friendship. The efficiency that you're having here, based on decades of friendship and trust between you, your father, your family, and China, it seems.
Yeah, it's. We are launching today a project between the Samarach Xixinhui with this wonderful school of Ningbo Xichen Senior High School. And it's really based on an idea that we had when my father passed away in 2010. I was thinking always that I had inherited something very valuable, that was the relationship with my late father with your country. And I had to find a way of keeping that alive. And the way of keeping that alive, we thought, was creating a foundation. The foundation is not of the family, it's a Chinese foundation under the control and patronage of the Ministry of Public Affairs in Beijing. And it's been a very good idea. We've been able to develop so many good projects for Spain, for my country, for Olympism, and for China.
There's a lot of pressure to be the son of Mr. Samaranch, the former president of the Olympic Committee, isn't it?
Well, I don't know pressure. I mean, I don't know if you could call it pressure, but I had been asked this question many, many times. Is it very difficult to be the son of? And I always have the same answer. Much more difficult would have been not to be. Being the son of a great man has been, of course, an encouragement. It's a challenge, but it's a great opportunity. Come on.
So his time is so different from yours. The glorious days of his time was like the climax of globalization. International Olympic Committee and movement has a great contribution to that. But now, thinking about the challenges today, some people talk about deglobalization, divide, division, de-link, and things like that. Very different.
Yeah, but it's not that our times are worse or better, are different. It's only different. Life evolves, and his generation, people, they had to go, so that we're saying that ours is more difficult. His generation, at least for a European man born in 1920, he went through a world war in Europe, through a civil war in his country, through 25 years of extreme poverty in his country. So I mean, in our generation, yes, we complain about it. Our generation, what we consider a disaster, that internet is not fast enough. That's a drama. For them, the drama was to eat, to get food after the war, and not be killed, and not be drafted, and have to fight against your brother in a civil war. So let's put things in perspective and be very thankful to that generation. They fought hard for us to be here today. Yes, we have problems, but are not comparable.
You are there also to witness many of the regional and global world sports events. For example, at the Asian Games, 19th.
The ceremony was marvelous. It was a combination of beauty. It was streamlined. It was not noisy. It was not, I mean, it goes with times. It was artistic. And it was really, really very nice to see that such a beautiful thing can be done. I think it was the perfect first step of these extraordinary games, that you will see that this 19th edition in Asian Games in Chinese soil will be very, very successful. And for your perspective, Asian Games are much bigger than the Olympic Games. So you people organize these things and you make it look like nothing. And we know how difficult it is. So always impressed with the organization capacity of our Chinese friends.
You were there playing a critical role during the Winter Games. And that has left another very different stage of legacy for the Olympic movement and certainly for Chinese cities hosting the Olympic Games.
Well, the Beijing winter, it has many angles. We could have not an interview. We could write a book on all the things that happened there. First and upmost is really the gratitude that the Olympic world has for Beijing and for China. In a difficult, dreadful situation with the pandemic, with no possibility of traveling, with no activation of the sponsors that we had, and with no public on the stands, basically, many other countries would have had doubts. Beijing never had doubts. They went forward and they did it. Now, another aspect important of Beijing is that the legacy of 2008 Summer Games in the same city has been totally utilized to make sure that everything makes sense, that there is no waste, that the facilities built in 2008 could today be still current and being used for the Winter Games. So it was a big effort that helped the Olympic movement like you cannot imagine.
And now you put a lot of efforts into youth sports, new sports, fashionable sports, bringing all of the different stakeholders together as the bridge.
Yeah, I mean, you are touching on something which is very delicate, especially these days, in which we are deciding on the Olympic program for 2028 Los Angeles Games. But yes, I mean, we cannot just go for fashionable sports. We have to keep traditional sports, but also we have to give the kids, like the kids we met some half an hour ago, you have to give them what they want. I mean, there are many sports that they do not relate to, and skateboarding, they do. So we are bringing and trying to adapt ourselves, and we listen very much to the youth and very much to the athletes of the world on how to move forward. But striking the balance between tradition and innovation, it's a very difficult thing to do, but something we don't stop looking for it.
Building consensus is always the most difficult thing.
No. Consensus is impossible.
It's impossible.
No, it's not difficult. Consensus is impossible. That everybody would agree is not possible. We are not looking consensus. We are looking whatever works. Whatever works. The combination of sports and programs that can attract the largest possible number of people around the world to be inspired by the Olympic ideals, with or without consensus.
Looking forward.
Absolutely.
Okay. Immediately after the sit-down interview, Samaranch was on the road again, this time to a local school for sports like roller skating, skateboarding, and of course, basketball.
Hello, kids.
After doing the rounds, Samaranch was on his way back to Hangzhou. He will be handing out medals to the winners of the gymnastic competitions that night. Our conversation continues in his car while he's on the move. There's a lot of dynamic in China, bringing sports together. So you see the local enthusiasm, for example, in the city of Ningbo earlier, about bringing more international sports, new sports, onto the scene. What role will China play?
China joined the international sports community in the year 84 in Los Angeles. In the Los Angeles Games, where
yes.
You got this
1984
fantastic medal.
I remember watching the games, so excited.
The medal in shooting.
Shooting,
that was the first medal.
Yes.
My father
handed over. Yes, the medal.
The medal. So from there you were a big country, but a small in performance, in performance sport. You have gone a long way. You organized that was the tipping point of many things. The Olympic Games, Summer Olympic Games in 2008.
Yeah.
And right now you are among the top 3, top 2, top 1 many times.
Yes.
Sport performance country during the Olympic Games. But we had the Olympic Winter Games. We had the winter sports. And now we have had last year the Beijing winter sports, very successful, and you will see that this is unstoppable. China will gain a similar status in winter sports as it does in summer sports in a very short period of time. So you are taking a role of leadership in sports performance, and you have already a leadership in sport events organization. You are a reliable, efficient, and loyal and trustworthy partner.
Right.
I've seen only sportsmanship in your athletes when compete. They win, they're happy, they lose, they are respectful. So I don't agree with that possibility. And about trying to grab as much organizing power as possible, I would be very, very clear to say that it is very easy for many countries, to say, we don't want to go to games or competitions in China because they do too much. I said, why don't you organize yourself? Because then you tell them, do you want to do this? No, it's too complicated, too expensive. No. So this is something very curious, no?
Very interesting, a phenomenon, isn't it?
They say, we don't want China. We don't want many countries. We don't want. They only want countries alike, that they have the same culture, the same political system, the same. And then you say, well, we're happy to discuss with you. You do it. So there's a little bit of double standards in those comments.
You do think?
Of course.
Well, you will be one of those very few that still dare to voice this out.
Well, and I might get suspended. No. Seriously, I think it's.
Sometimes life takes a little bit guts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something. It's obvious. It's not offensive. It's stating a fact. And I hope I'm not offending anybody. But it's true.
So what are some of the other cities you are looking forward to travel? What do you how is your dream likely to be in the next few years related to China?
Well, I don't know. Related to China, I mean, let me organize myself.
One step at a time.
from here to Christmas, to the end of the year. I will go next month to India.
Okay.
To Chile.
All right.
To Mexico. I hope that's it for long travel, and then we have many meetings coming in Lausanne, in Paris.
Yeah.
So
very exciting itinerary.
It's good.
Yeah. What are the categories of the Asian Games are you going to watch besides the gymnastic this afternoon?
I wanted to watch because I'm not really familiar with that sport, and it's very interesting for the future. Cricket. Interesting. It's a very Indian sport.
Yes.
But by the same token,
the Commonwealth sport.
In the early 80s, and the 70s, the idea was Olympism will not survive if it's not a truly universal sport, organization, family. And we cannot be universal without China. Now, the first part still applies. We cannot thrive if we are not a universal sport, and that cannot be without a significant more commitment and more respect and more joyfulness with India. And cricket could be a great gate opener.
I have to go. It was a pleasure seeing you today. Yeah. Hope you have a great trip.
Okay.